You are welcome to the platform. My name is Oloyede from Da Silva. I'm the anchor for this program. The next 30 minutes to 1 hour, I'll be taking you through our guests. The platform treats issues on economy, commerce, politics, religion, international relations and diplomacy, and all issues about human endeavor.
Say you do not have, you are getting your priorities wrong. Invest in books. He said it and he repeated it. Invest in books. Some of you have undergone the law program for 5 years. You do not have up to 50 books of your own. You do not have up to 50 books. Those of you who have up to 100 books, stand up. Okay, 60. 60, 50, 50, clap for yourself. Clap for yourself. So if you do not, thank you very much, you can be seated. If you do not, you are defining yourself. You are making your tomorrow. If you do not have you yourself, as difficult as things are, you don't have 50 books and you want to be a lawyer. Which lawyer? You are failing right from studentship. So he called your attention to the fact that when you talk about Islamic law, Arabic is mandatory. Arabic is mandatory. You struggle, you continue to learn it because it is one of the sources of access, key to your understanding of Islamic law. And he then suggested homework. Don't restrict yourself to 1 hour or 2 hour lecture in the classroom. Take for every 2 hours, take additional 2 hours to study on your own. And that's what he said he did, and it worked for him. To the University of Ilorin, he recommended 3 programs. And I couldn't remember, I was trying to recollect. There was a time I had an encounter at JAM with the vice chairman of the University of Ilorin. He came with somebody, I couldn't remember who that person was, from the faculty of law. And he was talking about a program. And I mentioned this, I couldn't remember, I've been cracking my head to know who that person was, who was head of a center related to law. I can't remember who the person is. And I mentioned to them at that program that there is the need for postgraduate diploma in Shariah. If you have a graduate diploma in Sharia and common law, and he had to structure it to postgraduate in Sharia practices and legal practices and something like that, so beautiful. If you have it, it will sell, because there are many people who are in need of postgraduate diploma in Sharia, and it can go in 2 ways. The emphasis can be on Islamic finance, another one can be Islamic legal practice for those lawyers who want to go into court of appeal, to be specialists in Islamic law, or common law lawyers who want to practice at the Sharia court of appeal. So this we need to look at. You also mentioned immersion programs for those of our students who may have things to remedy. They are in Islamic law by accident. In fact, because they were not admissible to common law, that some of them found that those are the people that will ever talk ill of Islamic law, because they found themselves in Islamic law by accident due to incapacity. I became a student of Islamic studies by choice, not because I was not qualified for other things. But if you are not qualified for other things and you are now saying, I can manage Islamic studies, you will ever manage your life. So if you are in Islamic law because you fail to meet the requirement for common law, I pity you. If you do not rise now, you will be carrying that luggage forever in your life. So the right way to do it is for you to be able to go for such immersion program that will remedy whatever needs to be remedied in your life, so that you can live up and take full advantage of your knowledge of Islamic law. And he talked about continuous professional program, continuous training, which or MBA will say you must have it based on what you should have, which will have also for Islamic law. And to me, he mentioned the advantages and disadvantages, and he mentioned the problems. I'm interested in the problems, and there are 3 of it that I want to mention. To be correct is a problem. It's not easy to be correct, he said it. Number 2, balance your priorities is not easy to balance your priorities because there are so many distractions. And thirdly, lack of mentoring. Lack of mentoring is different from teaching. Lack of mentoring. You hear Boko Haram now, what do they have? They mentor some people, turn their head, and they become their disciples. Many of us will claim to be professor of this, professor of that. Where are your disciples? We don't go to the class. Even in your mosque, local mosque, they don't know you. You are of no relevance to the community where you come from. If they say professor, you bear that name because they don't know you. What value is your degree and everything? If from where you come from, you mention your name, say Tani Gebe. So let us redefine our relevance to the community we serve. I think with all this, my own understanding of the issue. I am not a dictator, but I have some tendencies to be dictatorial. I would therefore welcome 2 or 3 persons and 1 student. And when I say 3 persons and 1 student, you know what that means. You know what it means, students. I say I will allow 3 persons and 1 student. You know what that means. Then I will allow 3 persons who are interested in taking up major issues from what you have said, either the one I have mentioned or the ones that they see that I have not seen. I welcome 3 of them and 1 from a student. Yes, 3 persons. Who are the 3 where it comes from, which is Judeo-Christian background? We have to subscribe to it. Then we also know that Islamic law is another source of law for us in Nigeria. Then you have what you call the customary law. Anybody, no system, nobody can say pick one or drop one and then there will be Nigeria. There will be no Nigeria, because that was the agreement on the basis of our existence. It's not something peripheral. So when somebody has the opportunity of having 2 of the 3 legs, I think it's an advantage. So it is not a disadvantage for somebody to have the opportunity. We are not talking about people, those of us who call, what do you call those who are not planted in law? Yeah? What do you call? No matter what you know, but we are talking about somebody who is licensed to license a common law lawyer, and in addition to that, he has the opportunity of knowing, having the knowledge of customary or Islamic law. How does that become a disadvantage to anybody with full senses? that is an added advantage because it does not take anything from him being a common law lawyer. In addition, he has another address in case the first address fails. I therefore, having listened to Professor Hosseini, I'm more convinced that I was right and Aziza was wrong. I was convinced that whoever is thinking like that is not thinking the way thinking ought to be. I also have the position that decorations, you see, people are distracted by shadow rather than by substance. As beautiful as this all these decorations you have, they are not as important as the sculpture. Because without paint, without all these curtains and so on, we can stay here. But if there is a structural error or structural defect, I think a wise person will not be in this hall. So decorations are added advantages that you have to destructure. And many people are distracted by decorations. Decorations are what they are, mere decorations. It is the structure, it is the existence, it is what you have as the real issue. And I think Islamic law, common law, customary law, they are the real issues when we are talking about governance of Nigeria, because law is the first thing. Without law, there can be nothing. Everything is based on law. So it is important for us to therefore understand what Professor Hosseini had told us. He spoke about relegating Islamic law to the level of customary law. And I thought when he started it, I thought he was not conscious of the later developments, particularly at the Supreme Court. But he came back to it. But one added advantage that I have picked from this is that he's saying yes, despite those pronouncements, that is not where we should. That's not where Islamic law should be in Nigeria. And he has come with two equally dangerous recommendations. Because he started by proposing that, look, you may not like what I say, but I've not seen anything that he has said that any white person will not like, unless somebody who does not like the truth. But he has come with two latently dangerous recommendations. One of his recommendations is to have a panel, what you call 3-man panel of exclusive Islamic law at the Supreme Court. I have a problem with that because it depends on whether the issue to be discussed is a constitutional matter or not. That will be what will determine the composition of the panel, the number of the panel, those who will be the panel. When you say dedicated Islamic panel, what that will be before it runs into a problem, I think will be what will be the basis of the choice of 3 or 5 or 7, which that is not anything but what's the matter to be discussed. In Islamic law, issue can now come that people will frame, lawyers will now reframe them in such a way that constitutional matters will be involved. And once the issue of interpretation of the constitution is involved, then whether it is 3 or 5 is definitely beyond the issue of Islamic panel. The second one is that if you do in the alternative, you know, lawyers, they are always of 2 hands. So on one hand, on the other hand, he's suggesting that we could ask all Islamic law matters to end at the Court of Appeal. I also believe that that will also create additional problem, because will customary law cases also end at the Court of Appeal? what will be the issue. I believe that these two suggestions that he has brought should be properly masticated and properly digested as a proposition that might have ordinarily, now just sitting ruling from the bench, I feel that, oh, this is a problem, another problem that we must confront. But it may also not be if properly masticated and well defined. This is one of the areas that I think we need to take away and digest and reconsider about it. He was right in my view on all the problems that led to the proposition, but I believe that we need to digest the recommendation. He also mentioned that there is a need for us to have introduction to Islamic law as a general. It is not about religion. Just as you have introduction to customary law, should be mandatory for those who are studying law at any time in Nigeria, because you are operating a system where the system allows 3 sources of law, and there could be conflict of law. So it is important for you to be introduced to each of these laws. I believe the sensible thing to do. If it is not being done, those of you who are in charge of curriculum, you have a problem with you. Then he raised an important issue. Can a Muslim die intestate? The answer is no. It has always been no. Many decisions have been decided, but that does not take from the fact that you still have many Muslim cases of Muslims who are being taken outside Islamic law on the assumption that that Muslim died intestate. When every Muslim is known to already have, unless he denounces Islam, once he dies as a Muslim, the issue of dying intestate does not arise. Now, he also mentioned the issue of focus, and of course the issue of purification of intention. And that takes me to one other important point he made, and that is, when you put a small man in a big office, he's going to reduce that office into a very small place. When you put a big person in a small place, he's going to elevate the position. So he said, do not define yourself by your source. Many people don't have anything about themselves other than their source. They live by it. They say things, and you now look at it that are these people saying? I was reading something yesterday, and there was suggestion that Oloyede was trying to appoint BC for WASU. I said I didn't even know that the position is vacant. And when did I become the governor of Kwara State? As governor of Kwara State, since being an indigene of Oloyede, will I need to do of Yoruba land to speak with you? There are things that when you hear, you just know that there are people who are not sane. They just have no brain at all. And you do not allow such people to define you. You have to be defined by higher goals, not people because they lack brain. If you go to their own level, you are likely to become brainless. So he raised this issue, and he mentioned also that you must always recalibrate your goals so that you are not distracted by definitions I've mentioned earlier. Some people are meant to be spectators. They can never become actors. So if you are an actor, do not be distracted by spectators, because their own is just to share anybody, clap, and they are not to be on the stage at any time. So you should not be distracted by them. students, he said certain things. Invest in books. Invest in books. Those of you who are students of law, please rise, stand. Student of undergraduate student of law, stand up, stand up, stand up. Stand up properly. You are taking too much time.
It's a problem solving woman. Even with the arena of Islamic scholarship, we have seen your personalities who have solved a lot of problems. Just like somebody that came to the Melania here, wanting to do one course or the other, and was unable to get the course. He was covered Islamic study, and he said something so pathetic. He said, what will Islamic study offer me in life? The answer that was given to the person that very day eventually made the person to become who he is today. He said Islamic study will fetch you to become the likes of Professor Oloyede. So that is why you are always wonderful as a woman, and may Allah continue to enrich us with the likes of you. The problem we are having in the world cannot be solved. You, the Islamic legal practitioners, you are the type of personalities the world is waiting for to solve many problems, as well as distinguished Islamic scholars. The problems they have been solving, even at the United Nations, there are many problems that are pending there. You are unable to get solution to it, which is very obvious. It is our effort. If we fail to be who we are supposed to be and stand as we ought to stand, the world will continue to languish and to be eroded. So the world has been created by God, that is Allah, and it is we the solution. Allah has said it in many occasions. About Islamic law, discovery will continue to be till eternity. The more you read, the more you know that something is hidden here. Allah never made any precious thing to be on the surface of the earth. It always be underneath. Anybody that will walk assiduously will get there. And that is why Quran is inexhaustible. We will continue to utilize it. Today I've discovered something. Except you are not thinking human being. Once you have a brain, you have solution to the totality of human problem. My chairman, I wanted the leader of us to ask ourselves, if you cannot answer that question, it means that the essence of you on heart is not achieved. You have not achieved it at all. And that is the question that has come from what the chairman has said. He said, you are unknown at your own arena. The question you should ask yourself is that, with the numbers of our years in life, in practice, what is a significant thing you think people will remember you for? If you have not gotten it till date, wallahi, go and start. It is never late. I always ask myself that question, and just one singular thing I do remember, and I will not mention. And I used to be happy that if it is this, alhamdulillah. Finally, is that I'm happy to see Professor Hussein here today. We have seen for maybe for decades back.
In my view, I think it's very important. It's the termination of Islamic law matters at the government. Because I'm sure you made this point because the level at which Supreme Court is overburdened by a number of cases before the court. At the moment, Supreme Court is already giving the case, adjourning the case in 2028, 2029. And one will not want a situation where Islamic law matters, which at the moment is usually on Islamic personal law, to also get to that particular stage. And then being account to 2030 for any matter to be properly decided. But I believe that since at the moment there are Shariah experts at the Court of Appeal, and if that matter actually terminates at the Court of Appeal, I think it will be fine. And I remember during the last commission review, I also submitted a memorandum to see that some of these matters can get to Supreme Court, get terminated. Tenancy matters, for instance, should not get to Supreme Court. Thank you very much.
Precisely just about 1 year ago, my phone does rang, and people who know me, I don't normally pick every call, but as Allah will happen, I picked that call. And who was talking? One of the most respected lawyers that we have in Nigeria today, Mr. Femi Falana, SK. He said, "Is that Professor Abdulrazak Alawi?" I said, "Yes, this is Femi Falana speaking with you." From where? He said, "Don't worry, somebody will call you from the US. There is a case in a court in the United States of America, and they are in need of a Sharia expert." He didn't know me from anything. And I must also confess here that I got paid handsomely in dollars. So I just like to share this experience with you. And thank you so much, Professor. You are a shining example of it.
Chairman for way forward to the recommendation made by Professor Umo. I want to join others too because I know Dr. Umo too, and he happens to be my second supervisor at the International Islamic University Malaysia. So it's a good mentor, I can say that. And notwithstanding, the second recommendation, the first recommendation I made that the chairman said is worried. I got more education by saying that we should look at the way we package our waste so that the representation of Islamic scholars can be, we can have that at the Supreme Court. Because we keep on wondering as Islamic experts that most of our Islamic personal matters ends at the Shariah court, and the one that needs to be appealed goes to Supreme Court where we do not have any representation. I think that is what informed that recommendation. Then on this appointment, I think I have much knowledge about it. So it's a big lesson to our students that once you are able to package yourself, you are more focused, definitely the sky is just the beginning. Because as you see him saying he is the CEO, he didn't start just like that. When his appointment was about to be made, they did not consult him. He did not even apply. He did not apply. So they have to consult our team, in person of Professor what is his name? Hadal. Said, please, we are here in respect of Professor Umar. Can you please tell us about him? So he got that job through his work. So hard work pays, and I want to encourage our students to continue like he has done, and he has advised. So thank you very much.
Has done meritoriously to many people. I didn't benefit from it, and I can see it from many people. But it must be acknowledged that the righteous people do not concentrate on their children. That is not what we learned from our fathers. They concentrate on children of others, and Allah takes care of their own children. So,
Islamic law is always ready to approach any problem that comes with it. I would also like to say that every student of common and Islamic law are more opportune than any other student of law in the universities across Nigeria. This reason being that we are exposed to having knowledge all around. So for this opportunity, I want to say thank you very much for the organizers and most especially the guest lecturer for this lecture. Thank you.
What's your name?
My name is Oloyede. We might call Oloyede. Yes, sir.
You are a Muslim?
No, I'm not a Muslim, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. So you are a student of Islamic law. You see, I didn't know who he was. I just wanted to pick the first, and that's a lesson for you.
Hi everyone, I would love to urge you all to watch Newsbeam TV. It's educative, innovative, informative and entertaining. Thank you very much.